Hi guys, welcome to the fourth episode of All Things Equine with RS. This week I'm going to keep it very brief and introduce you all to the third Olympic equestrian sport, eventing. I will explain to you what eventing really is and how riders and horses are scored. I will also be telling you a lot about the traditional badminton horse trials held in the UK at the end of this episode, so stay tuned. So, eventing is like a triathlon for horses, but instead of swimming, cycling, and running, horse and rider pairs compete against each other in dressage, cross country, and show jumping. Now, most of you who have heard my previous podcasts have a fair bit of idea what the show jumping sport and the dressage sport is. So, let me tell you about cross country. So, cross country is the second phase of eventing. The cross country course is approximately 6 kilometers long at the top competitions, comprising some 24 to 36 fixed and solid obstacles. Obstacles usually are built to look natural, out of logs, for instance. However, odd materials and decorations may be added to test the horse's bravery. Obstacles can include all those that might be found in riding across the countryside, including water, trees, logs, ditches, and banks. The riders and horses are tested for their endurance. The object of the endurance test is to prove the speed, consistency, and jumping ability of the true cross country horse. At the same time, it demonstrates the rider's knowledge of pace and the use of his horse across the cross country course. All obstacles or compulsory passageways are flagged with a red flag on the right and a white flag on the left. A black stripe on the red flag indicates that this is an option for the obstacle and another route may be taken if the rider so chooses, without penalty, of course. Cross country courses for eventing are held outdoors through fields and wooded areas. The terrain is unique for each course, which usually incorporates the course into the natural terrain of the area, and therefore, events in certain parts of the world may be held mostly on flat land, while others are over very strenuous hills. Horses competing at the upper levels of cross country need to be bold and brave, willing to jump a variety of obstacles at the highest level. Cars and trucks are also sometimes on the course as jumps. Now that you know the basics of cross country, let me introduce you to the scoring format for eventing. Eventing competitions are scored with penalty points. The competitor with the lowest combined score from dressage, cross country, and stadium jumping wins the division. Dressage is scored on every movement the horse and rider combination execute out of 10 points, with 10 being the best and 0 being the worst score, obviously. The score is then converted to a percentage point. The percentage point is then subtracted from 100% and the remainder is our penalty points for dressage phase of eventing. So for example, if I scored an average of 6.5 in every movement out of 10, my percentage score would be 65%. So my penalty point would be 100 minus 65, which is 35 falls. In eventing, penalty points on the cross country are acquired through jump falls and time falls. Jump falls come from disobedience at an obstacle, obviously, such as runouts, refusals, and circling. For disobediences, the scoring usually runs this way: 20 penalty points for the first refusal, um, then second disobedience at the same obstacle would incur 40 penalty points, and the third disobedience at the same obstacle is elimination. At training levels, you can have a total of 3 disobediences throughout the entire course and finish with the score. The fourth disobedience is an elimination. For preliminary and above competitions, you can have a total of 2 disobediences throughout the course. The third is elimination. In India, we follow the preliminary and above rule. Time falls result from exceeding the optimum time and come with a zero point 0.4 penalty points per second. Moving on to stadium jumping, like cross country, stadium jumping has penalty points both for jump falls and time falls. Jump falls include knocking an obstacle down while jumping and disobediences, of course. Knocking down an obstacle while jumping results in 4 penalty points, and the first disobedience is also 4 penalty points. The second disobedience anywhere on course is 8 points, but that is for the training levels only. Elimination for second disobedience for prelim and above competitions. Exceeding the time allowed results in 1 penalty point for each second in stadium jumping. So now that we know what eventing is, let's talk about the badminton horse trials so you have a fair idea of what eventing competitions are like. So, badminton horse trials is one of the 6 events around the world that have been classified as 5-star by FEI. So, all the top sportsmen and top sport horses of the eventing sport can be spotted at badminton. It is held at the sprawling property of 500 acres at Badminton, which is in Gloucestershire, UK. It all started in 1949 by the 10th Duke of Beaufort in order to let British riders train for international events and was advertised as the most important horse event in Britain. Since first opening its doors in 1949, badminton has been a popular occasion for many horse lovers, both at home and across the globe, and has expanded and changed hugely since the first trials, in which only 22 horses entered and some 500 spectators sat watching on bales of hay. The event now draws the masses with over 200,000 visitors across the 5 days, including 84 riders, 500 journalists and TV cameras, 600 volunteers, and nearly 500 trade stands of food and drink and shopping too, covering a total area of 500 acres of badminton park. Badminton horse trials is considered a great day out in the countryside for the whole family, and people camp at the venue too. People enjoy watching the sport and indulge themselves in amazing food and drink and thoroughly enjoy the British countryside and the equestrian sport every year in May. Over the years, badminton has seen many legendary horses and riders over its notoriously tough course, and it is a huge achievement for any combination to compete at the 3 day event. So, badminton is actually a 3 day event that runs over 5 days because there is a health inspection of the horses before the competition begins, and dressage phase takes up 2 days. So on day one, which is a Wednesday, the elite horses undergo an initial inspection by the jury to make sure that they are fit to compete, and us riders know that as a trot up. The young event horse class also occurs on the day one. The day two, which is a Thursday, the elite competition begins with dressage. On day three, which is a Friday, dressage competition continues and there is a stallion parade. Day 4 is a Saturday and it is the famous cross country day, and it is the most sought after event to watch. Following that, day 5 is a Sunday and the final inspection of the horses to ensure that they are fit to ride in the final phase of the competition is held earlier, and once horses are passed as fit, show jumping commences. At the end of the day, there is a presentation of prizes and the winner of badminton is announced. The total prize money for this 3 day event is roughly about £400,000, with the winner taking home 100,000 and the top 20 competitors scooping smaller but still significant amounts. Badminton has actually been cancelled on several occasions in 1966, 75, 87 and 2012. The event was cancelled completely in these 4 years, and in 1963 it was downgraded to a 1 day event due to bad weather. And in 2001 it was cancelled due to the foot and mouth disease. In 2012 it was cancelled due to the waterlogged ground, and this year too it has been cancelled because of COVID-19. If you ever get the chance to be in the UK in May, make sure to check out badminton horse trials and do a day trip. It's an amazing experience and I hope to be there one day and experience it for myself also. Alright guys, that's it for this episode. Do drop in your comments and suggestions. If you have any questions, I would love to address them, and you can reach me on Instagram at the rate Rochaksopti. And please do like and share this. Any feedback is welcome. New episodes every Sunday at midnight IST. Thanks for tuning in at All Things Equine with RS. Happy horsing!